Good morning, everybody. Yes, hello, hi, I am Amalgam Ash. Welcome back to the Smile Game Builder Game Jam Summer 2020 Let's Make a Game video series. When we last left, I kind of had this little fatal error, but it turned out to be okay. I was able to open my project again and get right back to the screen without a problem. So I think it just had to think really hard about what it had done so it could apologize to me. Yeah, I took out the Hulk gloves and it was like, I'm sorry, Ash. But we're going to take everything away except for attack this time. We're just going to say okay to that. Or we're going to apply it, rather. Then Thalo blue, that needs to be, no, you green. Green. Reset to defaults. We'll take everything away except for the tech. And we should be able to say okay to that. You are being buggy, and I do not appreciate that. Stop it. Stop it now. Apply. Halo Blue is going to be our starting party member. Thank you. We're also going to put Thalo Green. I was interrupted by the game bugging the hell out last time, but I was trying to say that I'm going to start you off with both of these party members from the beginning because I'm going to immediately remove one depending on who you pick for your starting party member. And I feel like that's going to be a couple of less steps than, if you pick this one, then add this person to your team, because it's going to account for you having one already. It's just going to help me with my mind, the way that I think of things. So now this has been done, and we're definitely going to change the system graphics. We may not need to change the battle stuff because I don't want there to be a battle stuff. Excuse me. But for those of you who don't know, all of this stuff can be edited. Every piece of the UI that you see can be changed to look different. It's all editable, and it's all right here. Now, if it wasn't available right here, we would be breaking the game engine by going in and just changing the graphic ourselves in the folder in which it resides. But we don't have to do that because everything is right here laid out for us. You can select what you want. System sounds, we've been through this before. Camera, free movement. I might switch to grid movement, but we need to get into the actual development part, and we need to do that right away. So we're going to change the game title now to Project Spectrum. That is a working title. And we'll go ahead and put the description of the game, Amalgam Ash's own entry for the Smile Game Builder Summer 2020 Game Jam. Game Jam. We are going to essentially make sure my starting party is right. Good. We're going to make sure that my game pays homage to two figures. Save the file and playtest. And those two figures are Bob Ross and Carl Sagan. Bob Ross was a famous painter who ran a television show which he hosted for the longest time. The Joy of Painting. They ran for something like 1 million seasons. And he's had some guests on there from time to time, and his son has painted on there. And it is one of the most calming and relaxing shows. And you can follow along and paint with him. And he paints all kinds of beautiful landscapes and scenery while he has this just so totally peaceful and calming voice. And this afro that kind of puts out this peaceful aura. Alright, so we need a way to progress now. We need a way to get outside. And we need to put something like a common event or something that's got some dialogue to where when you wake up, you're like, what happened? You know, all this stuff happened. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. I really want to make a maze of foliage, not foliage, debris. Yeah, because those words sound alike. And get it to where, you know, you've got stuff in your way and you're kind of forced to travel a specified path. But I can't really do that. So we're going to put cadmium right here. What's going on? You need a character right there. An NPC, as it were. I'll just do an advanced event. I don't know why I'm looking through all that stuff. Okay, so here are the advanced events. We're going to, I don't need to do that. Why did they let you change this stupid color? Change the graphic, and we're going to put, who are we going to put? I really want Titanium White to be there, because she's the ship's computer. Maybe I'll make her Titanium. I think I will. All these models are the exact same, they just have different texture files. I think I'll make one of these models Titanium White. Right? They're not all the exact same. Some of them have skirts. Oh, no, they're all the exact same. That's the exact same model. There's different hair, though. Okay, so there's two different models distinctly. I'll use her, I think. Or should I reuse this graphic? She's saying yes. So I think I'll go ahead and use this graphic. So there will be no conditions. There will be a switch later. I can do that. Switch. No. No. Just local switch, right? Right? Is that what I want? Well, we won't worry about a condition just yet. We will start the event. When the main hero talks, we're going to change a variable. Well, I'm sorry, we're going to put up some dialogue. That's the first thing we're going to do, okay? We are actually getting into, here we go. What's display ticker text? Yeah, I played with a lot of these, but I don't remember some of them. Enter the dialogue text to display. It's the ship's computer AI. Now, if I go here, I have to display their thingamabob, their character portrait, and I'm not going to have those, I don't think, ready in time. So, can I change the camera? Display emoticon, save screen, image, move display, delete display. Camera control. Here we go. We want to. Interesting. Well, this is kind of what I wanted to do right here. So this is going to zoom in on the event, and we're going to give you a name, Mr. Preset Setting. We're going to call you oh, yeah, I can't change the name. Oh, yeah, I can. Dialogue 1. Okay. It's the ship's computer AI. Now, we want to mess with a variable. And this is something I am not good at all. I have not messed with very many variables. We don't need to change a string. We just need probably just variable box. and variable number 0, which I'm going to call MSQ. We're going to assign it a number. Okay, so here's my thought process, and I could be quite off on how this actually works, but I'm thinking for a lot of RPGs, the streamlined way of doing things for events, and making sure that, you know, when you get into wide open lands and having this quest chain for your main story quest or your MSQ, and my thinking is being influenced by some MMORPGs that I've played, one in particular, to be honest, that instead of having to mess with switch after switch after switch, or variable after variable after variable, and just have all of this data piling up, taking up all of these registers in your program. Yes, I just used the word registers. Wouldn't it be more practical to just have a single number that climbs and it increments by 1 every time you... Yes, every time you advance in the MSQ. So, for example, the condition is truly going to be that the very first variable... I don't want to switch variable box. There we go. Take that off. Because I think switches are either on or off. They're binary. They take up the least amount of memory. But it's going to be more practical to use a variable. So we're going to use the MSQ variable, and it's going to be equal to 0, because it's going to be equal to 0 when you start the game by default. But now it's going to be equal to 1. Whoops. It's going to be equal to 1. And we're going to add, well, it's going to be equal to 1. So what ends up happening is now, after you've done all this, you can't do it again. Your MSQ variable is set to 1 for the remainder of the game, no matter what you do, until I create an event where the variable box condition that your MSQ variable is set to 1. Now, that only one event can have that. It's just, unless you want branching paths, only one event can have that. It's going to be the next event that I have planned for you to get to. And when you get there, you will, talk to the character or examine the location, or open the door, or read the sign, or whatever. And the trigger is you doing that. The condition that it happens is also that your MSQ variable is set to 1. And then when you do that, thereby advancing your story, the MSQ variable will now be set to 2. So not only will you still not be able to go back and trigger the exact same story sequence from before, thereby eliminating the need to bug test that, you won't be able to get the same dialogue by reading the sign over again. Now, this does mean that every event that I program this way is going to be inactive. So I will need to branch some further eventing into each one. Why would I do that? Well, you'll see, but I can also explain it. When you talk to the character, they shouldn't have to say the same thing over and over. They should have something else they fall back on saying after you've had the big conversation with them. Here, it's the ship's computer AI. And Titanium White's going to be like, okay, you're going to get access to outside the ship, as long as you can verify that you've got your collar to leave the ship and be safe. There's no reason for them to say that over again. So when you talk to Titanium White, now the dialogue should say, did you get the collar yet? And then the new condition is that if you've created your collar and the MSQ variable has been bumped up, then she'll say something different. But for now, I'm going to go with the MSQ variable being incremented every time you do something noteworthy until you have completely finished the linear path. I will have other quest chain variables that also increment. You're going to have one that increments for each major objective you do on the branching maps, because I don't want to force you to start, one map over another. You can start that map, map A, and finish it, and then go into map B and finish it, and map C and finish that. And you can do that in any order you want. But every time you finish map A, B, or C, that side quest chain variable will go up by 1. Once it hits 3, you'll be able to do the MSQ again. But that's just a little bit of variable talk, and I've wasted a ton of your time, and I am out of time. So we've talked about variables and the MSQ variable getting overwritten, and it's going to become 1. Actually, we're fine with that, I think. It's either overwrite or add. I think I'm just going to leave it on overwrite so I can be default, and then I just have to commit this number to memory, which I have to do anyway because I have to use it for a prerequisite, so we're fine, we're good. If MSQ is set to 1, you will be able to look for materials on the ship, but you'll be able to know that with more dialogue. Right now, though, we're done. We have added this event, and let's apply it. And we're just going to test it. We're going to middle mouse button that playtest. Alright. And we're on the ship, and there's titanium white. You're looking not so titanium. And the camera does its fancy camera work. It's the ship's computer AI. Oh, she disappears. Oh, and then my camera actually does not return back to normal. Oh, I love your run animation. It's cute. Very cute. I need to make it very obvious. Whoa, dude. I need to make it very, very obvious that that's a door. Oh, God, I love these textures. Wolf, you did such a good job on these textures. They're so, so retro. I don't know if that's the intent because they were high text, but I find them retro, and we don't want to do that, though. Alright, so that's all the time I have for this episode. I know it seems like I'm just ranting and raving like a lunatic, but this is important because we're designing this game. You're with me on this journey, and we're both doing it. Sort of. Well, you're watching and hopefully learning. Maybe. That's all the time I have. Yes, I have to go. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Please check out the playlist and the rest of the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll do anything for subs. I need more subs. I need lots of subs. Please, let's get those subs going. If this video gets 10,000 subs... Wait, no, that's not how that works.